Oftentimes when people are arrested, their mugshots are just an inconvenience. But when you're a celebrity, it means that it can be an end for you. Welcome back to Beyond the Screen. I'm your host Dana, and today we are getting into top 10 celebrity mugshots that ruined their careers. And at number 10, we have Robert Downey Jr. In his own words, RDJ had an interesting childhood. But as you'll see by the end of this entry, that isn't even close to the right word to use. His parents were both artists who divorced when he was 13. They led a lifestyle that meant they were traveling for work and wild party invites. Growing up in this house, there was always no-no juice, snow, and the devil's lettuce on command due to his parents' party habits. Leaving a young man alone in a big house with questionable liquids and powders, that always goes well. Infamously, his father passed him a little puff-puff at the age of only 7, which no doubt had an impact on his overall relationship with illicit substances. By the time he was 22, his battle had only gotten worse, eventually landing him not only in rehab, but in prison as well. In his early 30s, he was pulled over for speeding in Malibu, initially just a traffic stop. The police found a massive load of hot tar spoon juice, crack lacquer, no-no snow, and 357 Magnum hand pew-pew in the back seat. He was charged with felony accounts of substance possession, DUI, and possession of a concealed firearm. Eventually, he was found passed out in his underwear in the neighbor's child's empty bed, and he had never met this neighbor. This was when he knew he needed rehabilitation. And at number 9, we have Lindsay Lohan. It's hard to choose which Lindsay mugshot is truly the worst and most career-ending, so let's cover a couple. Lindsay's first arrest took place in 2007 in Santa Monica. Lohan was pulled over by Santa Monica police and charged with a DUI and for possession of no-no snow. A few months later, she was arrested again, only this time she was actually sent to jail for a whole 84 minutes. This was around the time that Georgia Rule had premiered, which it turns out was going to be her last serious role. Following the arrest and the mugshot hitting the front page of TMZ, Lindsay started finding it harder and harder to secure work. By the time her third mugshot popped up in 2010, she was basically blacklisted from every studio around. She was arrested in 2010, this time for violating the terms of her probation in the 2007 ordeal, and this time she was made to spend more than a few hours in jail, being sentenced to 90 days, but only surviving 14 due to overcrowding. It didn't matter though. By the time 2013 rolled around, she was locked in a rehabilitation facility for 90 days after lying to the court and using no-no snow, despite it being against her probation. The last movie she starred in was somewhat important, as her role as herself in the opening moments of Scary Movie 5. She made a Netflix movie last year, but that's not saying much. Her mugshots only got worse and worse, showing how substance use and overall stress of the situation took its toll on Lindsay. And at number 8, we have Michelle Rodriguez. While many fans know Rodriguez as the action star from the Fast and Furious franchise, and most recently in the new Dungeons & Dragons movie, she is best known by law enforcement for her many drinking and driving related crimes. These include a number of charges from driving under the influence to attempted swatting while under the influence. These sentences carried out a small jail sentence of only a few days each. In one instance, Rodriguez only served 4 hours of a 4-day prison sentence due to overcrowding, and only served 2 days of a 60-day sentence for the same reason. While she may have been let out early, the charges did come with a significant amount of community service. Of course, as many of us know, when you are convicted of a crime, no matter how small, there tends to be a probation period attached to it, meaning that there is a certain amount of time where you are prohibited from violating specific rules and especially committing crimes. Unfortunately for Rodriguez, a hit-and-run incident in Los Angeles placed her in violation of said parole, and a warrant was issued for her arrest. The actress was nowhere to be seen following the incident, as multiple attempts to contact her by police went nowhere. It turns out she had been hiding from them because she knew this time there would be no overcrowding loopholes, and she was eventually arrested and made to serve a 6-month jail stint for violation of her probation. And at number 7, we have Donald Trump. Donald Trump's son has described his father's mugshot as the most iconic photo in the history of US politics. The former president of the United States was arrested a couple months ago on 34 separate violations of a New York law against falsifying business documents to conceal another crime. Over the years, he was taking company money and using it to pay off anyone who may have been a threat to both him personally and him politically. He was also involved in an affair with an adult film star named Stormy Daniels, who filed a civil lawsuit against Trump after he paid her off to keep her quiet. The mugshot was released in all of its glory this past week, and it is wonderful. Not only is Don looking up at the camera, proving that he is a teeny tiny man, but he also looks like he's about to steal all of the gifts in Whoville. Seriously, throw some green paint on that face, and we are set. Many are saying that Don looks like a mob enforcer who retired in the 70s, but still thinks he's part of the gang. Alright, not many are saying that. I did just say that, and I am not done. Don looks like he's hiding something from his nurse at the old folks home, and he looks like the little kid that just broke his mom's lamp, and isn't sure what to do about it. I could go on and on about what he looks like, but this isn't a roast. Drop a like if you would ever want to see a roast on this channel. It would be my pleasure. In at number 6, we have Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian did her own glam before taking her mugshot. During the October 6th episode of Hulu's The Kardashians, the Good American founder looked back on the mugshot she took ahead of her jail sentence in 2008. While trying a herb gummy with mom Kris Jenner, Khloe joked that she'd take the fall if they got busted for the goods. In a confessional, Khloe recounts her time in jail, having been arrested for driving under the influence during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians in 2008. The crew are on their way to drop off Khloe at the prison after she violated her probation following the arrest, and things in the car were intense. But Kim decided to diffuse the tension by snapping a couple of pics of her and her sister. The entire ride was filled with cringe moments, including Kris suggesting that they all go get some pre-jail IHOP to chill out. The funniest thing about the moment is that Khloe seemed pretty calm and collected considering the situation, while her mother was just furious from start to finish. Her mugshot made headlines and is considered to be super cute compared to some other famous foes. Khloe may be cute on camera, but behind the scenes, this is one of the most toxic families in the world. In at number 5, we have Vince Vaughn, twice. So Vince was actually arrested 2 different times in his life, both times affecting his career in different ways. Vince Vaughn was arrested by North Carolina cops in April of 2001 and charged with fighting in public for his part in a brawl outside a New Hanover County bar. During the melee, fellow actor Steve Buscemi was stabbed several times. Vaughn entered a no contest plea, and the minor charge was dropped 6 months later. Following the altercation, Vince found it very difficult to secure work. The news of his arrest had taken over the media at the time, effectively putting him on Hollywood's blacklist. But he was able to redeem himself by working in a comedy with legend Ben Stiller in a little movie called Dodgeball. The film was a massive success, and Vaughn's career was back in action until 2018, when he was arrested once again, only this time for driving under the influence after being stopped at a sobriety checkpoint in Southern California. He was cited for resisting arrest, and his nice new mugshot was unleashed on the world. Since 2018, his career has slowed down drastically, and while he has starred in a handful of hits, Vince has spent a majority of his time wishing he really did work for Google. And at number 4, we have Hugh Grant. For years, Hugh Grant was the darling of the A-list rom-com scene. The British actor starred in films like Sense and Sensibility and Remains of the Day, making a name for himself as being a leading man worth being swooned over. His celebrity status was cemented by his long-term relationship with Liz Hurley. The pair met in 1989 and were a high-profile celebrity couple long before we had Bennifer and Brangelina. Ben Affleck needs to chill. Grant's appearance in the 1994 hit film Four Weddings and a Funeral turned him into an international superstar. The British film was a stepping stone for him into higher-profile Hollywood films, but in 1995, his squeaky clean image came crashing down after he was arrested in 1995 for participating in lewd conduct with a woman of the night. His sheepish mugshot is now infamous. It was revealed that the star was arrested in a police sting operation after he paid the woman, Divine Brown, $60 to perform oral activities on him in a nearby street. Well, according to Grant, it was all a stupid mistake. Right after the news of his arrest hit the press, he released his own statement, claiming he did something completely insane and was aware of the pain it would cause his friends and family. His career was a bit rocky from there, but as we all know, he was able to make up for his mistakes and Hollywood began casting him in high-profile films in the mid-2000s. In at number 3, we have Shia LaBeouf. Shia is no stranger to the world behind bars. Shia has been arrested a handful of times over the years for everything from aggravated accelerations to petty theft to public intoxication. His first major arrest, and truly the event that cemented Shia as problematic, came in 2015 in Austin, Texas. He was booked for a misdemeanor, but was later released from jail with little to no issues. However, Shia's story is one that actually has a positive ending. 2 years later, he was arrested again in Georgia for several charges, but thanks to this arrest, Shia was forced to undergo rehabilitation therapy and is currently clean and sober. While accepting an award for his 2019 flick Honey Boy, he personally thanked the arresting officer for changing his life and teaching him the value of his position in it. Shia may be a problematic man, but as the years have gone by, he has become more and more open about his past and open about the idea of change. His career is nowhere near the height it used to be. Having a mugshot floating around next to your headshot is not a good look. In at number 2, we have Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was arrested in 2004 after officers found a number of substances during a search of his car, and he was released after posting $4,000 bond, according to the Oklahoma police. They seized 17.3 grams of herbs and spices, 8 Xanny pills, and 16 round white pills, identified by the police as clonazepam, a sedative used to treat anxiety and seizures that can be highly addictive. Police said Culkin told them he did not have a prescription for the medication. At the time of his arrest, he was in his early 20s and had been retired from the acting world for a few years. Following the arrest, Macaulay suddenly became a bad boy of Hollywood, landing on the list of child actors who lost their fame overnight. But it was Macaulay who chose to retire at the age of 14. He fell hard into the partying scene, and his arrest was more likely than the first of many wake-up calls for the young actor. He eventually kicked his bad habits and has been sober for a few years, and he currently resides in LA with his wife Brenda Song, aka London Tipton, and he's slowly making his way back into the acting world, so keep your eyes out for his next role. And last but not least, at number 1, we have Orlando Brown. That's So Raven starred Raven-Symoné as the titular Raven, who has the ability to briefly see the future via unprompted visions. The show had a stellar supporting cast, including Raven's best friends, Chelsea and Eddie, played by Annalise Vanderpool, and Orlando Brown. Orlando's time as Eddie was received well with audiences, and he quickly became a fan favorite for not only his comedic abilities, but his dramatic abilities as well. After Raven wrapped up its final season, Orlando's career took a bit of a turn. Surprisingly, he was being casted as small side characters or secondary characters with minimal screen time in film and TV. In 2022, he appeared on Dr. Phil's talk show and opened about his struggles mentally and financially. He also shocked audiences with his new look, drenched in tattoos and sporting a pair of demon eye contacts. Unfortunately, it seems that Orlando has fallen victim to heavy substances and violence as he was arrested for a misdemeanor after an altercation with his brother. The mugshot made headlines as the world saw another Disney star turn to the dark side. And those are the celebrity mugshots that ruined their careers. Did we miss any good ones? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for checking out our content today, and if you made it to the end of this video, a framed photo of Donald's mugshot should be arriving in 3 to 4 business months. Drop a like if you had fun, and thanks for stopping in to Beyond the Screen. See you next time.